Good morning, students. Welcome to Best Colors Online Classes. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss about the reproductive cycles in mammals. In that, one of the reproductive cycle already started, that is menstrual cycle in primates. Now, we will continue the topic. In last class, actually, we discussed already about the menstrual cycle. Now, we will discuss about the remaining information about the menstrual cycle in primates, along with human being. In old world monkeys and anthropoid apes like gibbons, orangutans, gorillas, and chimpanzees, there is a menstrual cycle that we are going to discuss now. Okay, right. So, first of all, as once you can recall what we discussed in last class, there are four phases in the menstrual cycle. Namely, the first phase is menstrual phase or bleeding phase. The second phase is follicular phase or proliferative phase or pre-ovulatory phase or estrogenic phase. And the third phase is ovulatory phase. And the fourth phase is secretory phase or luteal phase or post-ovulatory phase or progesterogenic phase. So that four phases, and what are the respective events that takes place in the female reproductive system of a primate that we discussed in last class. Now, in this class, we are going to discuss about, we are going to represent this all phases in the form of a graph. So, first of all, we will discuss about the graphical representation of menstrual cycle in female human being. The graphical representation of menstrual cycle in female being. You should write this. You should practice this. Okay. Okay. First of all, we will take x and y axis here. So here. Okay. So here it is the days, number of days in the menstrual cycle. How many days are there in the menstrual cycle of a female human being? There are 28 days. Now in this graphical representation, it is x-axis and it is y-axis. On x-axis, we will take the number of days in the menstrual cycle. Number of days of menstrual cycle here. And on y-axis, we will take here number of days of menstrual cycle and various phases of menstrual cycle. Here on the y-axis, what are the various changes take place in the uterus and also in the ovary, along with the changes in the levels of hormones, both ovarian hormones and levels of pituitary hormone levels. But that both we will discuss here. First of all, here number of days we will write. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like that. All days you should mention here. 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, 14, 15. So after you will continue 16, 17, 18, 20. For example, here due to lack of space, I just wrote 20. After that, 25, 28, and next is the beginning of next menstrual cycle. Okay, so number of days here, number of days in the menstrual cycle. And after that, what are the phases here? In last 5 days, that is the phase. And up to 13th day, what is the phase? And 14th day, what is the phase? And last, what are the phases? Okay, so now we should divide like this. The first phase here is menstrual phase. Menstrual phase. How many days it will take, ma? 5 days. Menstrual phase, that is in first 5 days, maximum of 5 days it will take. So first phase, menstrual phase or bleeding phase. And the second here, up to 13th day, 6th to 13th day, that is follicular phase or proliferative phase. Follicular phase or proliferative phase. And the shortest phase here, which will happens on 14th day of the menstrual cycle, that is ovulatory phase. This is ovulatory phase. At last, the longest phase here we can notice. What is the longest phase here? That is secretory phase or luteal phase. Secretory phase or luteal phase. So that's the 4 phases here. So the total 28 days in the menstrual cycle is covered here by these 4 phases. In first 5 days, menstrual phase. 6th to 13th day, there is follicular phase or proliferative phase. On 14th day of menstrual cycle, there is ovulatory phase. At last, from 15th to 28th day of menstrual cycle, the longest phase, there is secretory phase or luteal phase. Okay, that I mentioned here on the x-axis. And after that, here you have to notice, first we will see the uterine changes. What are the various changes that takes place in the uterine? Here, first we will see uterine events. Uterine events. What will happen in the uterus? We will draw uterus here, especially in the uterus, which layer we will draw here? That is endometrium. What will happen in the endometrium during these phases? Now I am drawing endometrium here. See, endometrium has like these tubular glands. Already, you know, tubular glands are present in the endometrium. Okay, so tubular glands are present. These are the tubular glands or cylindrical glands that present in the endometrium. Right? In first 5 days, what will happen? That we will discuss. Okay. Along with this, we have to know what is the levels or what is the changes in the ovarian hormone levels. Here I am mentioning changes in the ovarian hormone levels or ovarian hormone levels. Ovarian hormone levels. What are the ovarian hormones here? Progesterone and estrogen are ovarian hormones. So that it is not visible. Okay. First here uterine events, and after that ovarian hormone levels, and after that there are changes takes place in the uterus also. Okay. So here what are the uterine events that already I wrote? Along with that, what are the changes that takes place in the ovaries? So that are ovarian events. Ovarian events also we have to notice here. Ovarian events. Ovarian events. Uterine events, along with that ovarian events, both takes place simultaneously. And you will notice here the pituitary hormone levels, FSH and LH are the pituitary hormones that involve in this process. Pituitary hormone levels. So this you should notice here, very important. So in this graphical representation, you have to notice the changes in 2 parts of the reproductive system. One is the endometrium of uterus, another one is the ovaries. Okay, so you have to notice these 2. What are the changes that will take place in the endometrium of uterus and in the ovaries? So what are the uterine events that takes place? What are the ovarian events that takes place? And after completion of that, along with these 2 events, you all know that the hormone levels will play a vital role that is responsible for all these changes takes place in the uterus and also in the ovary. Okay. Now, how the hormone levels will changes? How the ovarian hormone levels will modifies and how the pituitary hormone levels will changes. So, as already I mentioned, because of changes in the hormonal levels only, all these four phases and all the changes in the ovaries and uterus takes place. Without that, there is no chances for the changes. Okay. First, what will happen here? It is endometrium of the uterus. Endometrium of the uterus. See, in first phase, that is menstrual phase, how is the hormone levels? All hormone levels are very low here. If you observe here, it is estrogen level, ovarian hormone level, estrogen is less. estrogen level is less. At the same time, if you'll observe here, it is progesterone. Progesterone level also less. Estrogen level is less, and also progesterone level also very less. Okay. Along with that, what about FSH and LH? If you'll see, FSH level also reduces here. FSH level also less, and LH level also very less. We'll see LH also very less. So here two hormones. This is estrogen, and this is progesterone, estrogen and progesterone. And here, if you observe, the yellow one is FSH, and the blue one here is LH. So in the first phase, that is in the menstrual phase or bleeding phase, what will happen? How is the hormone levels? Both hormone levels here. If you observe here, in this phase, all hormone levels are low. So whenever the hormone levels are low or the concentration of hormones is less, what will happen? If the concentration of hormones is less, automatically that will act as a positive feedback mechanism, that act as a stimulus for the hypothalamus. Then hypothalamus will release this gonadotropin releasing hormones. That gonadotropin releasing hormones will act on anterior pituitary. That anterior pituitary then secretes FSH and LH. Okay, so that you have to notice. So before that, what will happen in this phase? So due to reduce in the progesterone level, due to sudden drop in the progesterone level, what will happen? The endometrium will be degenerated. This is the endometrium. If you observe, the thickness of endometrium will reduce. So this breakdown part of endometrium will send out in the form of menstrual flow. Okay, so the breakdown part of endometrium or the degenerated endometrium, along with the cell debris and blood, along with cell debris and blood will be sent out through the vagina in the form of menstrual flow. Okay, so in first 5 days of menstrual cycle, what will happen here? There is sudden drop in the progesterone level or there is reduce in the progesterone level. Because of that, the endometrium will be degenerated, and this degenerated endometrium will send out along with the cell debris and blood in the form of menstrual flow. Okay, that will take place in first 5 days of menstrual cycle in female human beings. Right, that's clear. Is it clear? First phase completed. How is the hormone level? All hormones are less. All hormone levels are very less in this phase. Okay. What is the important event that takes place in the uterus here? That is degeneration of endometrium. But is there any changes in the ovaries? There is. In ovaries, there are ovarian follicles. In the ovaries, ovarian follicles are present. But this ovarian follicle are very small, that cannot grow in size here. In this phase, in the ovaries, ovarian follicles are present that cannot grow in size. That you have to notice here. So it is ovarian follicle that cannot grow in size. Right. So no event takes place in the ovary in this phase. And after completion of this phase, what will happen in second phase? Whenever all hormone levels are less, that act as a stimulus for hypothalamus. That shows positive feedback mechanism. So then hypothalamus secretes gonadotropin releasing hormones. That gonadotropin releasing hormone stimulates adenohypophysis, that is the anterior lobe of pituitary, to secrete two hormones which are known as gonadotropins, that are FSH and LH. FSH and LH. So in next phase, what will happen? In next phase, the levels of FSH and LH will slowly increases. The levels of FSH and LH like this, there is increase. The levels of FSH and LH will slowly increases. There is increase in the levels of FSH and LH. FSH and LH levels will slowly increases. That also you have to notice here. The levels of FSH and LH will increases. Okay, right. What about the action of this FSH and LH? Observe, if you are not able to listen properly about the events in the second phase, very important changes will take place in the second phase. Now you can notice that if you are not listened this properly, now you should notice that whenever FSH and LH levels will increases, FSH will act on the ovarian follicles. FSH will act on ovarian follicles, as already I gave you. Then FSH, what is the name? What is the full form of FSH? Follicle stimulating hormone. So FSH stimulates the ovarian follicle, and then ovarian follicle will start growing in size. So FSH will causes for FSH will stimulates the ovarian follicle to undergo the process of growth. Okay, so here like that the ovarian follicle will grow in size. That will happens here, right? It will keep growing in size like that. The follicle will grow in size. The follicle will grow in size. It is primary follicle, secondary follicle, and that will modifies into a fluid filled. Okay, so there is a fluid filled cavity. Antrum is there, so that follicle is follicle. That follicle is tertiary follicle. Along with oocyte is there. Okay, so like that you have to notice here. Is it clear? There is oocyte, but primary follicle, secondary follicle, tertiary follicles are formed. So it will continue up to 14th day. Okay, this process will continue up to 14th day. But this developing ovarian follicles of the ovary, start secretion of estrogen. So what will happen in the levels of estrogen? Estrogen levels also increases here. So especially theca interna, as already we discussed, the theca interna start secretion of estrogen, so estrogen levels also increases. So whenever estrogen level and LH levels increases, LH just stimulates the beginning of proliferations here. LH stimulates the beginning of proliferations in the endometrium of the uterus, but estrogen will enhance the process that provoke the proliferations. So here LH just initiates the proliferations, but estrogen will causes for repeated mitotic divisions, which are known as proliferations. Then what will happen here? That leads to reformation or regeneration of endometrium. Endometrium will be slowly regenerates like this. Endometrium will start regenerating. Endometrium will be start regeneration. It will continue throughout the menstrual cycle. The thickness will increase. Along with this, the capillaries which are broken already, that capillary is also reformed. The capillary is also reformed here. So before all capillaries are break down here, that broken capillary is also reformed here. And if you observe here, these are the folds of endometrium. In between that here is a gland. It is a tubular glands. Okay, vertical glands or tubular glands also present in the endometrium of the uterus. That you have to notice here. Just for your understanding, I gave you like this. Okay, there is increase in the thickness continuously. There is increase in the thickness. So in the second phase, the first event that takes place in the endometrium of the uterus by the action of mainly estrogen. That estrogen stimulates regeneration of endometrium. Actually, estrogen stimulates the proliferations in the degenerated part of endometrium. Already we discussed it. In the endometrium of uterus, there are two parts: stratum functional and stratum basal. Stratum functional only degenerated. Now stratum basal is remaining. So whenever estrogen level increases, estrogen will act on this. Okay, stratum basal, and that causes for repeated mitotic divisions, which are known as proliferations. Whenever there is proliferations, that leads to regeneration of endometrium or reformation of endometrium. That will take place. In between 6th day of menstrual cycle to last of the menstrual cycle. After formation, the thickness of endometrium will be increases. Okay, right. What about in the case of ovaries? By the action of FSH, the ovarian follicles will grow in size and modifies into primary follicle, secondary follicle, and a matured follicle or Graafian follicle. A matured follicle or a Graafian follicle. For example, see here, it is a matured follicle or a Graafian follicle. Matured follicle or a Graafian follicle. Is it clear? So, primary, secondary, tertiary, and matured follicle, it is a primordial follicle. Primordial follicle, primary follicle, secondary follicle, tertiary follicle, and Graafian follicle or matured follicle. That you should notice here. So, this phase is very important because two important events or vital events simultaneously takes place in two different organs of the reproductive system by the action of two different type of hormones, pituitary hormones and ovarian hormones. What are the simultaneous events that takes place in the uterus and ovary? In the uterus, by the action of estrogen, there is regeneration of endometrium takes place. Regeneration of endometrium. And by the action of FSH, the growth of ovarian follicles takes place, finally leads to formation of finally leads to formation of Graafian follicle. Okay, because of that it is known as follicular phase. And here there is repeated mitotic divisions which are known as proliferations. So it is proliferative phase. In this phase there is increase in the levels of estrogen. So we can call this as a estrogenic phase also. Okay, so the two are the important events takes place here. One, the growth of ovarian follicles and formation of Graafian follicle that takes place in the ovary. Another one, the regeneration of endometrium in the uterus. Okay, as already I mentioned, LH just initiates, but which will causes for the main process of regeneration, that is estrogen. Okay, so that takes place in this phase. Is it clear? Right. After completion of this phase, what will happen at middle of the cycle? That is on 14th day. On 14th day of menstrual cycle, what will happen? There is releasing of a ovum. So the oocyte along with the, for example, if it is a oocyte, this oocyte will releases along with two layers, zona pellucida and corona radiata. Okay, the releasing of oocyte takes place on 14th day, that is the ovulation. Okay, actually the release of ovum into body cavity from Graafian follicle is known as ovulation. But here, the release of secondary oocyte from the Graafian follicle into body cavity is known as ovulation in human being. There is no releasing of ovum, just a secondary oocyte only releases into the body cavity, that takes place here. And what about the hormone levels? Hormone levels will increases. Till the hormone levels will increases, but if you observe in this phase, the levels of these hormones reach to its maximum. The levels of these hormones reach to its maximum, especially the level of LH. Level of LH. Of course, the level of estrogen, the level of LH, level of FSH, all will increases. But here, what will happen here is LH surge will take place. LH surge. As already I mentioned, what is LH surge? LH surge. What is LH surge? The peak levels or the maximum levels of LH is known as LH surge. So here, in the middle of the cycle, how the ovulation takes place? The three hormone levels reach to its maximum. FSH, LH, and estrogen levels reach to its maximum on the middle of the cycle, that is the 14th day of the cycle. Okay, and middle of the cycle, that is the 14th day of cycle. Whenever LH levels reach to its maximum, we can call that as LH surge. LH surge. Whenever LH surge takes place, LH will act on the Graafian follicle and ruptures the Graafian follicle. Okay, which hormone is responsible for the rupture of Graafian follicle? LH. So LH will rupture the Graafian follicle, that leads to releasing of ovum or secondary oocyte in human being. So that is known as ovulation. Ovulation usually takes place at the middle of the cycle by the action of which hormone? LH. Okay. So LH is responsible for the rupture of Graafian follicle and release of secondary oocyte into the body cavity, that is ovulation, which will take place at middle of the cycle, that is the 14th day of menstrual cycle, right? That's clear. So what will happen in the uterus? In the uterus, the changes are same. Thickening of endometrium. Endometrium will keep increase in the thickness. The thickness of endometrium will increasing like that. There is increase in the thickness. The thickness of endometrium will keep increasing. That you have to notice here. Okay, and also formation of this all broken capillaries again. Okay, like this, right? And after that, what will happen? That also you have to know. After formation of this, now 3 hormone levels increased or that reached its maximum. But what about progesterone level? Progesterone level is still constant. There is no change in the progesterone level up to this. There is no change in the progesterone level. So progesterone is still constant, but estrogen level increases in this phase. FSH and LH levels also increases. But in third phase, that is the ovulatory phase, estrogen, FSH and LH will reach to its maximum, or high levels of hormones are there in the body of a female. So whenever the level of hormones will become high, that shows negative feedback mechanism on the hypothalamus, as already we discussed. Whenever the hormone levels will be high, that show a negative feedback mechanism. Then what will happen is, hypothalamus stops the secretion of gonadotropin releasing hormones. So gonadotropin releasing hormones cannot be secreted by the hypothalamus. If there is no gonadotropin releasing hormones, automatically what will happen is, there is no secretion of FSH and LH by anterior lobe of pituitary. So what will happen in next phase? In next phase, the levels of FSH and LH will start decreasing. The levels of FSH and LH will start reducing. Like this, the levels of FSH and LH will decreases. So both FSH and LH levels will be decreases. You should notice that here. FSH and LH levels will decreases, right? And after that, here the Graafian follicle is ruptured. There is no theca interna now to secrete the estrogen. So what will happen here? Estrogen levels also slowly reduces. Estrogen levels also slowly reduces. Reduce the levels of estrogen. Okay, estrogen levels reduces. But what happens? What is the fate of this ruptured Graafian follicle? This ruptured Graafian follicle will modify into an yellow color body, which is known as corpus luteum, as already we discussed. So the ruptured Graafian follicle will modify into a temporary endocrine gland, which is known as corpus luteum. What is the function of corpus luteum? Corpus luteum secretes progesterone. Corpus luteum secretes progesterone. So now what will happen in the levels of progesterone? So now the progesterone levels will increases here. If you observe here, suddenly there is increase in the progesterone level like this. Progesterone level will increases. Why? Because the corpus luteum will secrete the progesterone. The ruptured Graafian follicle will modify into a yellow color temporary endocrine gland, which is known as corpus luteum. This corpus luteum start secretion. Okay, that will start a secretion of progesterone. So progesterone level will increases here. Progesterone level will increases here. Is it clear? Right. So if fertilization takes place, this progesterone will be continuously secreted to the corpus luteum. So if fertilization takes place, progesterone will be secreted by corpus luteum throughout the pregnancy. This corpus luteum will be maintained by LH. A very little amount of LH is required to maintain corpus luteum. So if fertilization takes place, corpus luteum remains throughout the pregnancy and secretes the progesterone. That progesterone will act on the glands, uterine glands, here, observe, endometrial glands or uterine glands, and stimulates them to secrete nutritive fluids. That nutritive fluids are essential for the maintenance of this endometrium throughout the pregnancy. That's clear. Is it clear? So here, if fertilization takes place, corpus luteum maintained throughout the pregnancy by the action of LH, and it secretes progesterone. That progesterone is essential for the maintenance of endometrium throughout the pregnancy. If fertilization cannot take place, what will happen? If fertilization takes place, corpus luteum will remain throughout the pregnancy and secreting progesterone. So endometrium will be continuously, endometrium will be continuous throughout the pregnancy. Continuously it increases in its thickness. Okay. During this phase, there is no chances for menstruation. So the absence of menstruation is an indication of pregnancy. Absence of menstruation may be an indication of pregnancy, but sometimes due to other abnormalities in the body also menstrual cycle may stops. But here, whenever there is pregnancy, corpus luteum will maintain throughout the pregnancy and progesterone will secrete throughout the pregnancy. So endometrium cannot be degenerated. So there will be no chances for menstruation. So absence of menstruation may be an indication of pregnancy. Absence of menstruation may be an indication of pregnancy. That you have to notice. And after completion of that, so now one thing you should notice here, during pregnancy there is no chances for, during pregnancy there is no chances for menstruation. That phase is known as gravid phase. What is gravid phase? Gravid phase. During pregnancy, menstruation is absence, or the absence of menstruation during pregnancy is known as gravid phase. The absence of menstruation during the pregnancy is known as which phase? Gravid phase. What is gravid phase? Absence of menstruation during pregnancy. Absence of menstruation during pregnancy. So absence of menstruation or menstrual cycle or menses is an indication of pregnancy. So what is gravid phase? During pregnancy, menstruation is absent, temporarily absent. Up to completion of effective lactation period, there will be no menstruation. So during 9 months of pregnancy, there will be no menstruation. After menstruation, a maximum of effective lactation, that is 6 months, there will be no chances for menstruation. So total 15 months, there will be no chances for menstruation. So that is known as gravid phase. Gravid phase, right? If fertilization cannot take place, what will happen? If fertilization takes place, corpus luteum will be maintained through the pregnancy, that secretes the progesterone, and the endometrium will be maintained. So there will be no menstruation. If there is no fertilization, what will happen? This corpus luteum will be degenerated, and that will multiplies into corpus albicans. What is this? Corpus albicans. So corpus luteum will be degenerated, that leads to formation of corpus albicans, a mole or scare in the ovary. If, observe here, if corpus albicans will form, if there is no corpus luteum, if there is no fertilization, then corpus luteum will be degenerated. It begins degeneration after 7 days of its formation. After 7 days of its formation, corpus luteum will start degeneration. So it will form on 15th day. 15 plus 7, so 22nd. So from 23rd day, if there is no fertilization, from 23rd day of menstrual cycle, corpus luteum will begin degeneration. And this degenerated corpus luteum will modify into a white color scare or a white color body in the ovary, which is known as corpus albicans. It is corpus luteum, as already we discussed about this. It is corpus albicans. Corpus luteum modified into corpus albicans. So here it is corpus luteum. Now corpus luteum is modified into corpus albicans. corpus luteum is modified into corpus albicans. Now there is no secretion of FSH. FSH is not secreted now. Then what will happen? So FSH level will slowly reduces. FSH level will slowly decreases. If FSH level will be decreases, what will happen here? If FSH level will be decreases, immediately what will happen in the endometrium of uterus? This endometrium of uterus will again begin degeneration. The endometrium of uterus will again start degeneration. Okay. So endometrium will start degeneration and this capillaries also break down. So that is the beginning of next menstruation. Beginning of next menstruation, bleeding or menstrual flow will be begin. So after 28th day, it is again first day of menstrual cycle. First day of menstrual cycle that we have to notice here. Is it clear? Okay. So that we have to notice here. If there is these hormones levels are less here in last phase, FSH level and LH level, both are very less here. But later, whenever a new menstrual cycle will begin, so like that, you have to notice estrogen also same. It is also reduces. Progesterone level is less. Okay, like that you should finish the diagram. But here, whenever a new menstrual cycle will begin here, for example, here after formation of corpus albicans, here there is beginning of a new menstrual cycle. Whenever a new menstrual cycle will begin, that is menstrual phase. Immediately after menstrual phase, what will happen is again there is increase in the FSH and LH level, estrogen level. Okay, regeneration of endometrium, formation of ovarian follicle, formation of Graafian follicle from ovarian follicles takes place. But at the middle of the cycle, when LH surge takes place, this Graafian follicle will be ruptured and releases a secondary oocyte into the body cavity. Later, after completion of that third phase, ovulatory phase, in the fourth phase, the ruptured Graafian follicle will modify into corpus luteum. So progesterone level will increases. Progesterone level will increases. If fertilization takes place, corpus luteum will be maintained throughout the pregnancy, and the progesterone will be secreting continuously, and the endometrium will be maintained throughout the pregnancy. There will be no degeneration of endometrium, so there will be no menstruation. So absence of menstruation may be an indication of pregnancy. If there is no fertilization, then what will happen? This yellow color temporary endocrine gland, that is the corpus luteum, will degenerate and modifies into corpus albicans. Then progesterone level will decreases. If progesterone level will be decreases, immediately what will happen? That leads to degeneration of endometrium again. That is the beginning of a next menstrual cycle. So that is the diagrammatic or graphical representation of menstrual cycle in female human being. The graphical representation of a menstrual cycle in female human being. Is it clear? Did you draw this? This constant up to this. Okay. So observe once again, ma. It is a graphical representation of menstrual cycle in female human being. So here on x-axis we mentioned the number of days in the menstrual cycle. Along with that, what are the various stages in the menstrual cycle? On y-axis we mentioned the changes in the uterus and the changes in the ovaries, along with the changes in the levels of ovarian hormones and pituitary hormones, right? So if you observe now here, in the first phase or menstrual phase, due to sudden drop in the progesterone level or due to reduce in the level of progesterone, the endometrium will be degenerated and all the capillaries which are present here will be break down. So this degenerated endometrium along with the cell debris and this blood which is released by breakdown of capillaries will send out through the vagina in the form of menstrual flow. That will take place from first to third or first to fifth day of menstrual cycle. That is the menstrual phase. In this phase, all hormone levels are low in the body. Very less quantities of hormones are there in the body. Here, the changes takes place only in the uterus, but there is no changes in the ovaries. Whenever the hormone levels are low, that act as a positive feedback mechanism that stimulates the hypothalamus to release FSH and LH. Sorry, that stimulates the hypothalamus to release the gonadotropin releasing hormones. Then the gonadotropin releasing hormones will stimulate adenohypophysis to release the FSH and LH. So in second phase, that is follicular phase or proliferative phase, the levels of FSH and LH will increases. FSH will act on the ovarian follicles and stimulates the growth of ovarian follicles and causes for the formation of Graafian follicle. And these developing follicles will secrete estrogen, so estrogen levels also increases. In the combination with LH, estrogen stimulates proliferations in the endometrium, so there is repeated mitotic division takes place in the endometrium that leads to regeneration of endometrium. So two events takes place here. One, the growth of ovarian follicles and formation of Graafian follicle, so it is follicular phase, and proliferation of endometrium leads to regeneration of endometrium, so it is a proliferative phase. In this phase, which ovarian hormone level will increases? That is estrogen, so it is estrogenic phase. It will take place before ovulation, so it is a pre-ovulatory phase. But still the progesterone level is low in the body. Okay. In the third phase, that is ovulatory phase, the LH, FSH and estrogen level will reach to its maximum. So LH surge takes place here. Whenever LH surge takes place, LH ruptures the Graafian follicle and causes for the release of secondary oocyte from the Graafian follicle to the body cavity, which is known as ovulation. That takes place on 14th day of menstrual cycle, that's the middle of the cycle. And after completion of this, the hormone levels are maximum. Whenever the hormone levels are high in the body, that act as a negative feedback mechanism. So this will suppress the hypothalamus and stops the releasing of gonadotropin releasing hormones. In turn, if there is no gonadotropin releasing hormones, adenohypophysis cannot secrete the FSH and LH. So FSH and LH levels will be reduces in the fourth phase. In the fourth phase, the levels of FSH and LH will reduces. At the same time, due to rupture of Graafian follicle, there is no chance for the secretion of estrogen, so estrogen level also decreases. But this ruptured Graafian follicle will modifies into corpus luteum, which acts as a temporary endocrine gland and starts secreting progesterone. So progesterone level will increases. Progesterone level will increases. This progesterone is essential to stimulate the glands which are present in the uterus. Then these uterine glands secretes the nutritive fluids that are essential for the maintenance of endometrium throughout the pregnancy. If there is no fertilization, corpus luteum will be degenerated and that will modify into corpus albicans. Corpus albicans. Is it right? Right? So if corpus albicans will form, there is no secretion of progesterone. So suddenly what will happen? The progesterone levels will drop. Suddenly the progesterone level will drop. Whenever progesterone level will drop, that leads to degeneration of endometrium and new menstrual cycle will begin. So this is a diagrammatic or graphical representation of menstrual cycle in a female primate. Okay, in a female primate that we should notice here. Is it clear? All of you draw this. So they will give sometimes only the hormone levels here, and they will give options A, B, C, D here. They will label A, B, C, D. You have to notice what is this hormone, what is this hormone, what are these hormones, and how the levels of hormones change in each phase of menstrual cycle. In first phase of menstrual cycle, all hormone levels are less. Whereas in second phase of menstrual cycle, 3 hormone levels will increases. What are that? FSH, LH, and estrogen. But which hormone cannot changes in its concentration? Progesterone. Whereas in third phase, 3 hormones will reach to maximum, especially which will reach to peaks. LH. So LH here, LH, after that FSH and estrogen all reach to maximum in the ovulatory phase. And after that ovulatory phase and secretory phase or luteal phase, what will happen? Which hormone level only increases? Only the levels of progesterone increases, but the levels of 3 hormones, FSH, LH, and estrogen will be decreases. If corpus luteum will modify into corpus albicans, there is sudden drop in the levels of progesterone, which leads to next menstruation. That is the beginning of next menstrual cycle. So this uterine changes and changes in the ovary. Okay, uterine events and ovarian events, and how that are regulated by changes in the levels of two type of hormones, ovarian hormones and pituitary hormones, that you have to notice here. Is it clear? Right. That's enough about the graphical representation of menstrual cycle. Graphical representation of a menstrual cycle. Is it clear? Shall I raise this? So here, menstrual phase, follicular phase or proliferative phase, ovulatory phase, secretory phase or luteal phase, and here uterine events, and here ovarian hormone levels, here ovarian events and pituitary hormone levels. Okay, so that you have to notice in this diagrammatic representation of menstrual cycle. Now we will discuss some menstrual disorders. Menstrual disorders. Shall I raise this? Is it clear? Okay. Shall I go for next topic? Right. That is ovarian disorder. Sorry, menstrual disorders. Menstrual disorders. As I mentioned, the first menstruation is menarche and the last menstruation is menopause. The menarche takes place at the age of puberty, that is 10 to 12 years, but the menopause takes place around the age of 50 years. In between menarche and menopause, in every 28 to 29 days, one menstrual cycle will be completed in female human being, except during pregnancy. Okay, that you have to notice. But sometimes there are some abnormalities or disturbances in the normal menstruation. Now we will discuss that menstrual disorders. Menstrual disorders. Menstrual disorders. So in these menstrual disorders, first amenorrhea. Amenorrhea. What is this amenorrhea? A means absence here. So amenorrhea means absence of menstrual cycle even after puberty without pregnancy. So absence of menstrual cycle in a female without pregnancy. Absence of menstrual cycle even after puberty, after menarche. If there is sudden drop in the menstrual cycle, if the menstrual cycle is completely absent, that is known as amenorrhea. What is amenorrhea? Absence of menstrual cycle without pregnancy after menarche. So there will be first menstruation takes place, that will be continuous, but suddenly there will be drop in the menstrual cycle, or menstrual cycle will be suddenly absent without pregnancy. So that is amenorrhea. Okay, so amenorrhea is absence of menstrual cycle without pregnancy after menarche. After menarche or in the reproductive period of a female without pregnancy, sometimes menstrual cycle will be suddenly stopped. That is known as amenorrhea. In between menarche and menopause, actually amenorrhea takes place after menopause. After menopause, there will be no menstruation. That is complete permanent amenorrhea, natural amenorrhea. But in between menarche and menopause, without pregnancy, if there is stopping of menstrual cycle, that is known as amenorrhea. Amenorrhea is absence of menstrual cycle in between menarche and menopause without pregnancy. That is a menstrual disturbance, menstrual disorder. So absence of menstrual cycle in between menarche and menopause without pregnancy is known as amenorrhea. Amenorrhea, right? Next, menorrhagia. Menorrhagia. Menorrhagia means excessive menstruation. Excessive menstruation or excessive menstrual flow. Excessive menstruation or excessive menstrual flow is known as menorrhagia. As already I mentioned, in a normal healthy female, there is 40 to 80 ml of blood will be sent out through the vagina in the form of menstrual flow. In the form of menstrual flow, what is the quantity of blood will be sent out through the vagina during this menstrual flow? That is 40 to 80 ml in a normal healthy female. 40 to 80 ml of blood will be sent out. But if this blood will reach to more than 100 ml, okay, if it is greater than 100 ml, or if the quantity of blood that will be sent out through the vagina during menstrual flow is more than 100 ml, that is menorrhagia. It is excessive menstruation or overbleeding. Excessive menstruation or overbleeding, it is usually 40 to 80 ml. If it will be cross more than 100 ml, we can call that as a menorrhagia. So amenorrhea, menorrhagia, both are completed. Amenorrhea, absence of menstrual cycle in between menarche and menopause without pregnancy. Menorrhagia, it is excessive menstruation where the menstrual bleeding will increases. Usually it is 40 to 80 ml, but if it is more than 100 ml, we can call that as a menorrhagia. Next, dysmenorrhea. Dysmenorrhea. Dysmenorrhea is painful menstruation. Painful menstruation. Painful menstruation is known as dysmenorrhea. During menstrual flow, during menstrual phase, there is pain in the abdominal region, that is a painful menstruation. This painful menstruation is known as dysmenorrhea. Dysmenorrhea. Is it clear? Painful menstruation is known as dysmenorrhea. Oligomenorrhea. 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 Reduce in the number of menstrual cycles per year. For example, in a normal healthy female without pregnancy, there are 12 menstrual cycles will be completed per year. 12 menstrual cycles will be completed per month. One, that is 28 to 29 days. One menstrual cycle will be completed, so there will be 12 menstrual cycles will be completed in 1 year. But in oligomenorrhea, the length of menstrual cycle will increases. The length of menstrual cycle, it is usually completed within 28 to 29 days of time, but it will be completed in 40 to 45 days of time, or even more. It will take place 60 to 65 days. So then what will happen? The number of cycles per year will be reduces. So reduce in the number of menstrual cycles is known as oligomenorrhea. So instead of 12, there may be 8, there may be 6, there may be 7, like that. There is reduce in the number of menstrual cycles per year. There is reduce in the number of menstrual cycles per year because of increase in the length of menstrual cycle, or increase in the time period that required to complete the menstrual cycle. Because if the hormone levels cannot reach to sufficient levels even after a 13th day of menstrual cycle, how could ovarian follicles will grow in size? How could regeneration of endometrium takes place? So these are all mainly depends upon the hormone levels. If there is secretion of very less quantities of hormones, then these events cannot complete within the time. That will require an extra time. So what will happen? The menstrual cycle will take extra time. So then the number of cycles per year will be reduces. That is known as oligomenorrhea. So what is oligomenorrhea? Reduce in the number of cycles per year. Reduce in the number of cycles per year. Okay, reduce in the number of cycles per year is oligomenorrhea. Oligomenorrhea. Is it clear? So now I gave you what is amenorrhea, menorrhagia, dysmenorrhea, oligomenorrhea. Right. After completion of that, next menstrual disorder here, polymenorrhea. Oligomenorrhea, if you understood, automatically you can guess what is polymenorrhea. Polymenorrhea. Right here, polymenorrhea. What is polymenorrhea? See here, there is reduce in the time that required to complete a menstrual cycle. The length of menstrual cycle will be reduces. The length of menstrual cycle will be reduces, or the time period required for a normal menstrual cycle will be reduces. Instead of 28 to 29 days, it may completed within 15 to 16 days. Whenever the hormone level will increases rapidly in the body, so all the events will be take very fast here, so that reduces the length of menstrual cycle, so the time required to complete a normal menstrual cycle will be reduces. Whenever the time will be reduces, what will happen? Automatically the number of cycles per year will be increases. Instead of 12 cycles here, there may be chances for 15, or there may be chances for 18. So like that, if there is increase in the number of menstrual cycles per year, that is polymenorrhea. If there is reduced, that is oligomenorrhea. In oligomenorrhea, the length of menstrual cycle increases. The number of days required for completion of menstrual cycle will increases. But whereas in polymenorrhea, the number of days for menstrual cycle will be reduces. Here, hormone levels will reach to its sufficient level very slowly, but here hormones will increases rapidly, so that changes will remember. So here in polymenorrhea, increase in number of cycles per year. Increase in number of cycles per year, that is polymenorrhea. Polymenorrhea. Right? Polymenorrhea. Is it clear? Polymenorrhea. Next, cryptomenorrhea. What is this cryptomenorrhea? Cryptomenorrhea. Menstruation without external bleeding. Menstruation without external bleeding or without external menstrual flow is known as cryptomenorrhea. There is normal menstruation, but there is no external bleeding because of very little quantity of blood will be released in the uterus by breakdown of endometrium. So external bleeding is absent, but there is menstruation. Okay. So menstruation without external bleeding is known as cryptomenorrhea. Menstruation without external bleeding. Menstruation without external bleeding is known as cryptomenorrhea. Menstruation without external bleeding is known as cryptomenorrhea. Okay. So next, precocious puberty. Precocious puberty. Precocious puberty. What is this precocious puberty? See, if the menstruation or menarche takes place in a girl below the age of 6 years, by 6 years of age or 6 to 8 years of age only, the menarche or the menstruation will begin. That is known as precocious puberty. If the menstruation will begin at 6 years of age of a female, or at 6 years of a girl, or 6 to 8 years of a girl, that is known as precocious puberty. So in these girls, the menstruation will begin at 6 years or very less years, 6 years or 6 to 8, a maximum of 6 to 8 years only, they will attain their puberty. Actually, what is the age of puberty in female? 10 to 12 years. But here, half of that age of puberty, they will start a menstruation or menarche will begin. That you have to notice. So precocious puberty, if the menstruation or menarche will takes place at the age of 6 years or 6 to 8 years, that is known as precocious puberty. So these are some menstrual disorders. Some menstrual disorders: amenorrhea, menorrhagia, dysmenorrhea, oligomenorrhea, polymenorrhea, cryptomenorrhea, and precocious puberty. And already I gave you what is gravid phase. Gravid phase: absence of menstruation during pregnancy. Absence of menstruation during pregnancy is known as gravid phase. So that is clear about all menstrual disorders. This menstrual disorders may lead to abnormal production of ovaries, and also that may disturb the normal fertility of a person. Okay, so this menstrual disorders will be cured by taking some medicines. So that you have to notice here, menstrual disorders are completed. Menstrual disorders are completed. Okay, so that you should notice. And after completion of this, we have to discuss about the reproductive cycle in non-primates. Reproductive cycle in non-primates. What are non-primates? See, already I mentioned the animals, the mammals, which belongs to order Primata are old world monkeys, anthropoid apes, and man. Remaining all mammals except these primates are non-primates. That non-primates have a reproductive cycle which is known as estrous cycle. Estrous cycle. So we will discuss estrous cycle. Before going to discuss estrous cycle, take a short break. Welcome back, students. Now we are going to discuss about the estrous cycle in non-primates. The reproductive cycle in non-primates is known as estrous cycle, whereas the reproductive cycle in primates is known as menstrual cycle. So now we are going to discuss about estrous cycle. Estrous cycle. Estrous cycle. What is estrous cycle? The reproductive cycle in non-primates. The reproductive cycle in non-primates. What are non-primates? The mammals, except old world monkeys, anthropoid apes, and man. Remaining all mammals are non-primates. The mammals which are not belong to order Primata are non-primates. In that non-primates, majority of our domesticated. So all domesticated animals are actually non-primates. In that animals, the reproductive cycle is known as estrous cycle. So the reproductive cycle in non-primates is known as estrous cycle. In this estrous cycle, there are two phases. What is estrous cycle? The cyclic changes are the rhythmic cyclic changes, the complex rhythmic cyclic changes that place in the reproductive system of a non-primate. A non-primate is known as estrous cycle, or the reproductive cycle in non-primates is known as estrous cycle. Okay. So in this estrous cycle, there are two phases. Number one is estrous phase. Estrous phase. Number two is anestrous phase. There are only two phases in the estrous cycle: estrous phase and anestrous phase. Estrous phase and anestrous phase are the two phases in the estrous cycle. See, estrous cycle is actually a characteristic feature of seasonal breeders. So non-primates are actually seasonal breeders. They can reproduce only during a particular season, not throughout the year like human. So human is a continuous breeder. Human can produce the offspring throughout the year, irrespective of seasons. But these are seasonal breeders. They will breed in a particular season. during a particular season only they can able to produce the offsprings. So ovulation or the spermatogenesis is not required throughout the year. The gametogenesis doesn't require throughout the year. Whenever there is a reproductive season, then only the gametogenesis is required. Okay, because of that, they can produce the gametes only during estrus phase. Only during estrus phase. Now we will discuss about these two phases, estrus phase and anestrus phase. See, estrus phase is actually the phase in which the female is in the desire of copulation. The female exhibit a great desire of copulation with the male, and female allow the male for the copulation only during this phase. If a female is in a great desire, if a female animal is in a great desire for a copulation with male, that is known as heat. So whenever the female will show a great desire of copulation, that female is known as, that is in heat. Okay. So in this heat phase, whenever the female is in heat in estrus phase, then only it will allow the male for the copulation. Okay. And during this phase only the ovulation will take place. The ovulation will take place only in this phase, that we have to notice here. So ovulation takes place only during this phase. Is it right? Okay, right, that's clear. Okay, so during the estrus phase, the female is in heat, then only the female allow male for the copulation. During this phase only there is releasing of ovum. So ovulation takes place only during this phase. And after the completion of this phase, the animal will enter into anestrus phase. Anestrus phase. In anestrus phase, this animal cannot allow the male for the copulation. The female cannot allow the male for the copulation in the anestrus phase. And here there is no ovulation. Ovulation is temporarily arrested. Ovulation is temporarily arrested. So ovum cannot be produced by the female. So in estrus phase only, the female will allows the male for the copulation and the ovulation takes place in the female. So the production of offspring takes place only in the estrus phase. But whenever the season will be completed, this female will enter into anestrus phase. Anestrus phase. In this anestrus phase, this female cannot allow the male for the copulation. At the same time, there is no chances for releasing of ovum. Ovulation also not takes place, right? But during estrus phase, the ovum which is released, if it is not fertilized, what will happen? If the ovum which is produced in the estrus phase is not fertilized, if fertilized, you are all know that what will happen? Corpus luteum will be there. So endometrium of uterus will maintain throughout the pregnancy. Okay. So there is no need of breakdown of endometrium. If there is no fertilization of ovum during estrus phase, what will happen? The endometrium will be degenerated. Here also, the endometrium will be degenerated. But the degenerated parts of endometrium cannot be sent out. That will be absorbed by the reproductive tract itself. Okay. So here also there is degeneration of endometrium. When endometrium will degenerate, if there is no fertilization of ovum, then the endometrium will be degenerated. Endometrium will be degenerated, but endometrium will be degenerated. But that cannot causes for menstrual flow. Menstrual flow is absent or estrous flow is absent because all the degenerated parts of endometrium will be absorbed by the reproductive tract itself. So external bleeding or menstrual flow is absent in the case of estrous cycle. In the estrous cycle, the degenerated parts of endometrium will be absorbed. Because of that, there will be no chances for any external flow of degenerated parts of endometrium along the blood. So we cannot expect or we cannot observe this type of estrous bleeding in the case of estrous cycle, because the degenerated part of endometrium will be absorbed by reproductive tract itself. That we have to notice here. But in the case of human being or in the case of primates, the degenerated parts of endometrium along with the cell debris, unfertilized ovum, and bleed, that is the blood which is released by the breakdown of capillaries, all will be sent out through the vagina in the form of menstrual flow. But here all will be absorbed by the reproductive tract itself. Because of that, there will be no chances for any estrous flow. that you have to remember here, right? See, this sister cycle may complete within short period of time, or it may take place a long period of time. If you observe in rat, Easter cycle will be completed within 5 days. Within 5 days, Easter cycle will be completed. If you observe the rabbit, Easter cycle will be completed in 7 days. So it may differs from animal to animal. It may differs from animal to animal, that you have to notice. So the time period or the length of time required for Easter cycle may differ from animal to animal. In rat, it will be completed within 5 days, whereas in rabbit, it will be completed in 7 days. Like that, in different animals, different time periods are there for the Easter cycle. And some animals have only a single Easter cycle in a year. In a year, there is only one. There is a single Easter cycle. We can call that as a monoestrous animals. Monoestrous animals. Monoestrous. So in the case of monoestrous animals, there is a single menstrual cycle. Single Easter cycle takes place per year. For example, in the case of rabbit, in the case of deer, in the case of dog, in the case of fox, in the case of deer. Okay. So in these animals, even in the case of bat, only I am giving some examples. So in these animals, a single Easter cycle takes place per year. A single Easter cycle takes per year. So that animals are known as monoestrous animals. What is monoestrous animal? The animal which have a single Easter cycle per year. A single Easter cycle per year is known as monoestrous animals. Monoestrous animals. If there is many Easter cycles takes place per year, if many Easter cycles takes place per year, that animals are known as polyestrous animals. Polyestrous animals. What are the examples for these polyestrous animals? Polyestrous animals. For example, rat is a polyestrous. Rat, squirrel also polyestrous. Cow also polyestrous. Horse, sheep. Okay, these are polyestrous animals. Even pig, buffalo, all that are polyestrous animals. What is polyestrous means? Polyestrous means the animals which exhibit multiple Easter cycles per year, or more than one Easter cycle per year. More than one Easter cycle per year are known as polyestrous animals. Polyestrous animals, monoestrous and also polyestrous. That is clear. Is it right? So, Easter cycle, once again, just listen. Easter cycle is the reproductive cycle in non-primate mammals. In this Easter cycle, there are two phases, estrous phase and anestrous phase. Usually, these Easter cycles are there in the seasonal breeders, where there is no need of gametogenesis throughout the year. Only in a particular season, gametogenesis is required. Only in that particular season, population is required. In that animals, usually Easter cycle is there. So here in the estrous phase, the female allow the male for the copulation, and during this phase only the ovulation will be takes place. Ovulation takes place only during estrous phase. Okay. So during that phase only the female animal shows a great desire of sexual interaction or copulation, which is known as heat. Okay, whenever the female is in heat, then only it will allow the male for the copulation during estrous phase, and ovulation will take place in the estrous phase. So fertilization takes place. If fertilization cannot take place, if the ovum is not fertilized, the endometrium will be degenerated, and all the degenerated parts of endometrium will be sent out through the all the degenerated parts of endometrium will be absorbed by reproductive tract itself. So there is no estrous flow. We cannot observe estrous flow here. But there is a degeneration of endometrium. Okay, the degenerated parts of endometrium, damaged cells, and capillaries, and unfertilized ovum all will be absorbed by the reproductive tract itself. For that purpose, there is a specially modified epithelial cell membranes that are seriostelia. Okay, so there is a seriostelia present here. Stereocilia, sorry. There is presence of stereocilia. This stereocilia are the special modification of plasma membrane of epithelial tissue. So stereocilia will absorb the degenerated parts, right? So after completion of reproductive season, the animal will enter into anestrus stage. In the anestrus phase, ovulation is temporarily arrested, and female cannot allow the male for the copulation. So it is a resting phase. And some non-primates have more than one cycle in their reproductive season, that is polyestrus, but some non-primate mammals have only one estrous cycle per year, so that is monoestrus. Okay, so in their reproductive season or in 1 year, if there is a single estrous cycle, that is monoestrus, or if there is many estrous cycles, that is polyestrus. Examples for that: monoestrus, rabbit, deer, dog, fox, hare, and bat I gave, and polyestrus here rat, squirrel, cow, horse, sheep, pig, buffalo, that type of animals. Goat also have this type. Even donkey also have this type. Okay, so that all you should notice here. So estrous cycle also completed. Is it right? What is difference between menstrual cycle and estrous cycle? Menstrual cycle and estrous cycle, you can easily notice. Menstrual cycle takes place in primate mammals. Estrous cycle takes place in non-primate mammals. In menstrual cycle, menstruation takes place throughout the year, but in estrous cycle, this estrous phase takes place only during reproductive season. Okay, menstrual cycle is divided into 4 phases, but estrous cycle has only 2 phases. In menstrual cycle, throughout the year, gametogenesis will take place, but in estrous cycle, only during reproductive season only that gametogenesis takes place. In menstrual cycle, the degenerated part of endometrium, along with the breakdown tissue, breakdown cells, and also breakdown capillaries, unfertilized ovum, all will send out through the vagina in the form of menstrual flow. But in the case of estrous cycle, there is no estrous flow, because all the degenerated parts will be absorbed by the reproductive tract itself. Okay, so that menstrual cycle is noticed in the continuous breeders, estrous cycle is noticed in the seasonal breeders, right? That's clear about the 2 types, right? 2 reproductive cycles in the mammals are completed. Menstrual cycle and estrous cycle are completed. After completion of this, next we are going to discuss the next topic. So up to that, the reproductive cycle in both primates and non-primates is completed. After completion of this, next we have to discuss about the next topic in this chapter, that is fertilization and implantation. Fertilization and implantation. The next topic we are going to discuss in this chapter, fertilization and implantation. What is fertilization? What is implantation? Both the terms already I gave you, both the definitions already I gave you. What is fertilization? The fusion of male and female haploid gametes to form diploid zygote. The fusion of male and female haploid gametes to form a diploid zygote. The fusion of male and female haploid gametes, the fusion of male and female haploid gametes to produce a diploid zygote. The fusion of male and female haploid gametes to produce a diploid zygote is known as fertilization. Where the fertilization takes place in the human body, which is the site of fertilization? Already we discussed. Which is the site of fertilization? That is the ampulla of fallopian tubes. The ampulla of fallopian tubes. So the male and female gametes will be fused in the ampulla of oviducts or fallopian tubes. So to fuse this male and female gametes, first of all, the male gamete have to enter into the female body, then that have to reach the ovum, then only the fusion will take place. So how that entire process will take place? Before fusion, fertilization is just fusion of male and female pronuclei or male and female gametes in the fallopian tubes of female reproductive system. But how the sperm will reach, that is the male gamete, how the sperm will reach the fallopian tube, what is the procedure behind this, that we have to discuss first before going to discuss the fertilization. What are the events that takes place before fertilization? That is the pre-fertilization events. So after fertilization, what will happen? There is formation of a zygote, and this zygote will modify into morula. Morula will modify into blastula, which immediately converts into blastocyst in human being. That blastocyst will modify into gastrula. So before converting blastocyst into gastrula, this blastocyst will move from the fallopian tubes to uterus. And in the uterus, that blastocyst will attach it to the endometrium of the uterus. Endometrium of the uterus, that is known as implantation. Okay. So the attachment of blastocyst to the inner layer of endometrium, to the inner layer, that is endometrium of the uterus, is known as implantation. What is implantation? The attachment of blastocyst to the endometrium of the uterus. To the endometrium of the uterus. Endometrium is the innermost layer. You all know that, right? So what is fertilization? What is implantation? So before fertilization, what is required? And after fertilization, what is required before implantation? In between fertilization and implantation, there are some modifications takes place. The unicellular zygote will modify into multicellular morula by cleavages. Again, morula will modify into blastula, immediately turns into blastocyst. What will be the changes takes place in that we have to discuss. And after that, implantation will take place. After implantation, how blastocyst modifies into gastrula. Okay, so that we have to discuss. So in this topic, we are going to discuss pre-fertilization events, fertilization, post-fertilization events. Okay, we can divide the events required for this into 3 phases: pre-fertilization, fertilization, and post-fertilization events. So in pre-fertilization, what is the first required process here? What is the first required process in the fertilization? There are 4 important steps in the fertilization. The first one is approach of gametes. That is, first the gametes have to reach to a particular location. Approach of gametes or attraction of gametes. The first step, approach of gametes or attraction of gametes. How gametes will reach to the site of fertilization. So before that only, how the spermatozoa will enter into the female genital tract. After reaching to the site of fertilization, how the sperm will break down the barriers that present around the oocyte, that is corona radiata and zona pellucida, but with the help of acrosome, that is acrosome reaction. Acrosome reaction, which is also known as barrier penetration. Barrier penetration, acrosome reaction or barrier penetration. That is the second. And after barrier penetration, what will happen? Particle reaction. To avoid the polyspermy, there is a process in the ovum that is a cortical reaction. And after cortical reaction, the fusion of male and female pronuclei, which is known as amphimixis. Amphimixis. So there are 4 steps in the fertilization. There are 4 steps. So these events are required. Finally, the fusion of male and female pronuclei takes place. There is amphimixis. Before that, what are required here? First, approach of gametes or attraction of gametes, acrosome reaction or barrier penetration, cortical reaction, at last amphimixis. Okay. So these are the steps we are going to discuss in the topic fertilization. Okay. So for approach of gametes, first a physical interaction or a sexual intercourse or copulation is required between male and female. During this process, male releases 200 to 300 million spermatozoa in the female genital tract. In that 200 to 300 million spermatozoa, only one sperm is required to fertilize the ovum. So, ovum will release at the middle of the cycle, 14th day, but it will be survive only 24 hours. So, what is the lifespan of ovum? 24 hours. What is the lifespan of sperm? 24 to 48 hours. So, within this time period only, if sperm and ovum will meet in the ample of fallopian tubes, then only there will be chances for further steps. Otherwise, there is no chances for the further steps. So that all details we have to discuss. We will discuss about all this in detail in next class. Thank you.